What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today we are going to be talking about some post-rotation decks. Now, normally I don't like looking too far ahead into the next rotation or whatever when we still have 2 whole months of, the current standard format left. We still have just gotten Chilling Reign. We're still experimenting with it. But for a couple of people, locals have already started in person where they're playing post-rotation specifically. And in about a month, for those of you who don't know, there's a $10,000 tournament going on in New Jersey. It is a little bit misleading, the title. The first place only gets 1,500, I believe, based on attendance. I don't know the exact details, but you're not getting 10,000 for winning the event. But it is happening in New Jersey on August 8th and 9th that weekend. And it is post-rotation without Evolving Skies. So some of these 1K tournaments have been happening here and there across the country. Locals have been kind of starting back up in-person events. It's been really cool to see. I'm itching to get my hands into the game again. And Peter Kika is one of the players who is known for creating a lot of really cool lists, known for Night March mostly. And he's also a really good friend of mine. And he ended up winning this past weekend's 1K in New York, which is really close to where the event's actually going to be. And now, before we jump into the deck list and the metagame a little bit, just keep in mind that we will not have Evolving Skies for this 10K tournament happening in New Jersey. And if you guys are enjoying the content, obviously like, subscribe. It would really help the algorithm. Comment, if you will, as well. And we're going to jump into this post-rotation deck list, look at it a little bit, see kind of how the meta changes a little bit with a loss of a couple cards and why certain cards are being played. So if you guys wanted the deck list, this is on Peter Joltik's Twitter. I'm going to link it down below. So you can check it out. Go check out Peter. Support Peter. Give him some love. He's an insane player, in my opinion. But post-rotation, you got to think about a couple cards that are leaving. Obviously, no more tag teams, right? Victini gets really strong. Peter and Angel Miranda both piloted a Victini VMAX list about a month ago that, you guys might have seen. But Victini VMAX does take a little bit of a beating from the new Inteleon from Chilling Reign. Ice Rider is also a really good, strong card coming out of the upcoming format because of how easy it is to execute and how much damage you can actually pull off. So Ice Rider did really well as well in this metagame. I believe there was like an Eternatus deck that did well, as well as a Shadow Rider deck. So kind of a varied meta across the board, but the theme was big VMAX Pokemon that kind of have sustain on their own. Eternatus has Crobat and that kind of stuff. Ice Rider has the Inteleon engine as well to kind of get the ball rolling. And Shadow Rider is its own engine, realistically. I don't know if it was paired with Alchemy or not. I think it was paired with Alchemy. The lists are all up on Facebook as well, on Jason Anacargo's Facebook, or I think the like something gaming universes events page. I'll try to find it after I record this video. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they were posted to Facebook, I believe. But some of the top 4 players tweeted out their own lists. Angel tweeted his out as well. I'm probably going to try to cover that for Wednesday, maybe tomorrow if we do like a mini video. But yeah, this is Peter's list. It's got the 4-4-3 Inteleon line. Peter choosing not to play the Shady Dealings Inteleon Stage 2 from Sword and Shield, which I think is a fine choice to not play. You don't have to actually play it. Inteleon, the 20 damage Inteleon from Chilling Reign is probably the best card in the set, so it really gives you those little damage numbers. So he's basically opting to play like a Turbo Zacian deck without Turbo Patch, effectively. Playing basically 4-ofs across the board, making this like one of the more consistent decks I've seen around, actually. Just having the 4 Zacians. So you either open Zacian or you open a Sobble. If you open Sobble, you can set up your board. If you open Zacian, well, you can start setting up with Intrepid Sword. You play Aegislash because there is Decidueye still, and Altaria is a card as well. So Altaria and Decidueye usually do well when people don't expect it, but with 1 or 2 tech cards, you can kind of deal with the entire deck as a whole, especially knowing that Decidueye loses Rosa and Mew. Decidueye should be falling towards the bottom side of the, like stall out, no damage from big VMAX's V Pokemon variants, just because bench sniping was a big problem for the deck. Like, it could not really deal with bench sniping that well. And you lose Jirachi, Mew, Rosa. You lose like 3 really good cards to kind of like set up and get your ball rolling. So yeah, you do get Raihan when we get Evolving Skies, but that's not until like another 2 months. Now Peter plays 2 copies of Air Balloon and 2 Switch. I presume just having a nice split is good for switching cards. Rope is not really necessary in a deck like this because you probably just want to hit the active a lot of the time. Just do the damage and then get your Inteleon pings off where you want them. If you need to boss, you have 2 copies of Boss's Orders already in the deck, so it's not like you need to reuse more than that. There's 2 Cape of Toughnesses and 2 E-Switch. Cape of Toughness is a very cool card. that I think a lot of people have like overlooked because well, it's not really good right now in this current standard format unless you're playing Lucario Melmetal, but the plus 50 HP in the post-rotation format could actually make a huge difference when it comes down to like even smaller numbers. The 250 or 270 now with Zacian V makes it so you can't get one shot by Ice Rider. Yes, there is Inteleon to kind of like put the damage onto you, but you're forcing them to use their ping on that specifically, and you're also trading 2 for 3 with weakness hits as well. Cape of Toughness does not deal with Victini at all because you are weak, but the point stands. Like, it's just a good overall card that is boosting and bolstering your Zacians, which is really nice. Energy Surge takes the spot of Energy Spinner because we no longer have Energy Spinner in the current format, but Energy Surge is also a very strong card. It's simply just getting the ball rolling and fighting your energies because that's really all this deck needs to do. Get energies, get them into the discard, Metal Saucer, start setting up Brave Blades as quickly as possible. There's one copy of Path to the Peak. I'm not entirely sure why Peter plays that. Maybe like after you get your ball rolling, you can kind of like Path to the Peak a Shadow Rider deck so they don't like overwhelmingly like dominate you on damage, or maybe it's to bump I don't know, some other stadium like Training Court or something like that. I know Training Court has become a very strong stadium in the post-rotation format because getting one energy back has been, you know, just kind of invaluable for decks like Shadow Rider and Victini specifically. Yeah, there's 10 metal energies. Seems fine. Pretty good odds to hit them off Intrepid Sword. Deck is good. 4 Marnie, you're basically just disrupting every turn, it looks like, is Peter's strategy, with 2 Boss, 2 Birdkeeper being the other real supporters, and 1 Research, which I think could be a Sonya, honestly, also. Because I don't think you need to research all the time. But if you have 1 research, you can get it with the Drizzile, which is fine, right? Like you have the option to get that 1 research to kind of set up. But I think it could also be like a Sonya to continue setting up or something. I don't know. I don't know the deck as well as Peter does. Peter is the mastermind. He did win the 1K, so he's chilling. There's 4 Saucer, 4 Level Ball, 4 Quick Ball, and 4 Evo Incense. That's as consistent as you can possibly make it. I think like coming into this upcoming format, Quick Ball and Evo Incense are going to be like your 4 of like staples in almost every deck. And then Level Ball makes a resurgence purely due to Sobble and Drizzile being the really, really insane engine. If you guys haven't already, I would probably go buy the Inteleon like starter decks or theme decks or whatever they're called, battle decks, just because Drizzile is really broken. And having your Inteleon lines ahead of time is going to be a good thing to have because the card will go up in price. And it's good to get them now while they're still cheap. I think they're probably like $1 maybe, and they'll probably go up to like $1.50, $2. But when you're buying 4 Inteleons or 3 Inteleons, that's going to add up when you're rebuying into the game. Now, if you guys don't know what to buy for the upcoming format, I did make a video on what I think should be bought if you're rebuying into the game. And Steelers Network also made an excellent video specifically on a lot more of the cards rather than just an overall archetype video. So you can check those out. But that is Peter's deck list. There was some other decks that did really well at this format. Ice Rider, notably, is a deck that I thought would do well. Shadow Rider is a deck I thought would do well. They both did do well. Urshifu has kind of taken a backseat, but I think that's just because nobody's trying it out again. It'll probably come back into some sort of resurgence. I think Urshifu, Rapid Strike Urshifu is probably like still very, very strong. You could play Octillery with it, but bench snapping, obviously. So there's a lot going on in the post-rotation format. It's just you have to kind of think about how to approach the game differently a little bit, and we'll see what happens at the 10K event. I'll probably be attending the event myself. It's about in a month. I don't know if I'm playing it, but if I am going, I'm attending. I'm going to enjoy myself, and I will be trying to get a couple of interviews from players there, deck lists, videos, stuff like that, so I can post those, and that'll be a lot of fun, I think, doing like in-person videos. We'll see how well my phone can hold up for that kind of thing. But again, if you guys enjoy the content, like, subscribe, you know the deal. Until next time, guys, peace out. Have a good one.